On November 2, 2019, a chapter was released that marks the beginning of what many consider the high point of the new generation of shonen manga, the Shibuya incident. Jujutsu Kaisen has always featured a dense and brutal atmosphere, but Shibuya takes it to a new level, showcasing a world as relentless as it seems. A true massacre unfolds from all sides, with many characters facing terrible consequences, including Itadori himself, whose spirit is completely shattered. Today, we will discuss the tragedies that occurred on October 31st, 2018, in Shibuya's shopping district and list all the deaths in the Shibuya arc, from least to most impactful. To receive more videos like this on the channel, subscribe and hit the notification bell. So, prepare to hold back tears and check out the most tragic and memorable deaths of the Shibuya incident. Starting with the least significant but still noteworthy death, we have the Locust Curse, born from negative feelings associated with locust plagues. The name is quite suggestive, isn't it? Resembling a giant locust, this Grade 2 curse has great strength in its jaws and legs and can expand its abdomen for surprise attacks. It was in the Shibuya underground, guarding one of the barrier layers, and was exorcised by Itadori with relative ease. Next, we have the special grade smallpox curse, also of lesser importance. Born from negative feelings related to a smallpox epidemic that occurred in Japan about 1,300 years ago, killing a third of the population, this curse was summoned by Kenjaku, the mastermind of the Shibuya incident, using curse manipulation to fight Mei and her brother Ui. Initially, the curse attacks through a domain expansion, trapping the target in a coffin and crushing it with a large rock. If the target remains trapped for 3 seconds, they likely die of smallpox. However, even with a unique domain, the curse is easily subdued by the teamwork of Mei and her brother, being exorcised by a devastating blow from the Grade 1 sorceress. Now, moving on to the first human deaths on the list, we have the curse user Ogami and her grandson. Ogami allied with Kenjaku during the Shibuya incident to try to regain the freedom and impunity she lost with Satoru Gojo's birth. In reality, she does not have a real grandson. Instead, she kidnaps and raises children, forging a relationship with them to use them in assassinations. Ogami's technique is a type of necromancy, allowing her to summon information from the body of someone who has already died, either on herself or someone else. This ability ultimately leads to her death in Shibuya. Ogami and her grandson face Takuma Ino, a Grade 2 sorcerer and Nanami's apprentice. While the grandson holds off the sorcerer, Ogami initiates the ritual to activate her technique, but makes a grave mistake by summoning Toji Fushigiro's body's information into her grandson. Quickly defeating Ino, she orders Toji to kill the other sorcerers. However, Toji takes control of the grandson's body, subjugating his soul. With the information of his body, enabled by the heavenly restriction of Fushigiro's own body, Toji accepts the previous request and starts killing the other sorcerers, beginning with Ogami herself. Next, let's talk about the first death of one of the disaster curses. To buy time, the disaster curses Hanami, Jogo, and the cursed fetus Choso face Satoru Gojo in Shibuya's subway, surrounded by many civilians, preventing Gojo from using his most powerful techniques and domain expansion to avoid casualties. Additionally, the curses use a barrier technique called domain amplification, which allows them to bypass the limitless in exchange for not being able to use their innate techniques alongside this ability. At the beginning of the fight, Gojo warns that Hanami will be the first to be exorcised. However, he seems to prioritize Jogo while keeping the limitless deactivated. Hanami, thinking Gojo was bluffing, deactivates his amplification to attack with his innate technique but falls into Gojo's trap at that moment. With a terrifying look, Gojo quickly tears off the branches from the curse's head, severely weakening him and strengthening the limitless to deal with the domain amplification. Gojo places Hanami between infinity and a train, crushing and reducing the curse to dust. Jogo manages to escape this encounter alive, but his luck won't last long, and we'll talk about him again soon. Continuing with more deaths of lesser impact, but still in an interesting context, we have the secondary antagonist Haruta. He is a blonde curse user who briefly participates in the invasion during the exchange event on the side of the curses. Haruta's technique allows him to forget and store small miracles, such as when all the digits of a clock are the same number, using these miracles in dangerous moments to save his life. In Shibuya, he was doing what he does best, hunting and chasing those he considers weaker, as he is admittedly a coward. His last target would be an already exhausted and inattentive Megumi, who, after 2 intense battles, receives a slash on his back from Haruta. Megumi walks a bit further but realizes he cannot fight or reach Shoko for help. So, he decides to initiate a suicide ritual, a technique his ancestor from 400 years ago probably used against a user of the Six Eyes and Limitless. A shadow user must summon a Shikigami of the technique and exorcise it to use it in combat. This ritual is necessary to validate the summoning, but it is still possible to perform it with others present. Megumi, then, as his last action, summons the strongest Shikigami, the Divine General Maharaga. Megumi soon takes a full hit, becoming unconscious and near death. Meanwhile, the general kills Haruta with a single blow. Sukuna arrives and saves Haruta to prevent the ritual from ending, applying first aid to Megumi. Sukuna then fights the general and, after defeating him in one of the greatest displays of power in the series, splits Haruta in two, already without miracles to protect him. Rewinding a bit, we have the deaths of Mimiko and Nanako, Geto's daughters, who appeared during the Zero movie and were partly responsible for Sukuna's awakening in Shibuya. In the arc showing Gojo's past, Geto goes to a village where he saves the two, who were imprisoned, and kills everyone in the place. The two were in Shibuya because they made a deal with Kenjaku to stop using Suguru Geto's body if Gojo was sealed. However, as they did not seal the pact with cursed energy, Kenjaku simply ignores their request, stating that he would regret it. They encounter Itadori already unconscious after losing to Choso and force him to swallow another of Sukuna's 20 fingers, being interrupted by Jogo, who attacks the pair after they refuse to cooperate. Jogo forces Mimiko to consume another 10 fingers, temporarily awakening the King of Curses. The girls survive the attack using Nanako's photo manipulation technique, and, after kneeling before Sukuna's overwhelming presence, he allows them to make a request equivalent to 1 finger of his time. They ask Sukuna to kill Kenjaku and free Geto's body from his control, and in return, they reveal the location of another finger. However, in a brutal scene, Sukuna asks the two to stand up and reduces Mimiko to minced meat, outraged that they tried to give him orders for just 1 or 2 fingers. Nanako tries to attack Sukuna but is also quickly killed by a series of cuts, once again making it clear that the King of Curses is guided only by his pleasure and displeasure, and a human life means nothing to him. Following chronologically, let's talk about Sukuna's next victim, the cursed Jogo. After killing the girls, Sukuna asks Jogo the same question, asking what he wanted. Jogo wisely responds that he wanted nothing, that his goal was to fully revive Sukuna, suggesting that he make a pact with Itadori, using his various friends scattered around Shibuya as leverage. Sukuna then reveals that he has plans that do not even involve Itadori. However, he makes a proposal. If Jogo could land a single hit on him, he would grant the curse's wish, starting with the death of all humans in Shibuya, except one, likely Megumi. Jogo accepts, and his presence on this list makes it clear it will go wrong. A large-scale battle between the two special grade curses begins, more like a massacre. Sukuna has full control of the fight, humiliating Jogo by throwing him through buildings and dominating in close combat. Jogo then uses his ultimate technique, summoning a meteor in the city. Sukuna easily dodges, suffering no damage. To finish the fight, Sukuna reveals a new fire ability, surpassing Jogo's flames and burning him to nothing. Before dying, Jogo at least acknowledges Sukuna's strength, a strength I will soon discuss again. Hey everyone, unfortunately, this video ended up being a bit long, but part 2 will be out soon. So, subscribe here to keep up with our videos and don't forget to hit the bell to get notified. With that said, see you in the next video.